I'll estimate Senator Trustee Rhodes, please. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming. We'll be right with you in just a moment. We'll get our membership signed in. We'll need about 3 or 4 minutes.
time is now 3:10 p.m. This is the Student Government Association of Pulaski Technical College. I'm James Ryan Bozeman, President. I'll be officiating this meeting today. This will be the call to order for membership. Madam Secretary, roll call. How many members do we have present?
We have 13 members present.
So did we establish quorum today?
Yes.
Excellent, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we call a special meeting today. We only have one item on the agenda today, and that is the introduction of Resolution 14-003. I'm going to read that resolution now. A resolution to authorize the SGA to vote no confidence against PTC President Margaret Ellibee and for other purposes. This time we will open discussion on this resolution by the Student Government Association. I would like to say one other thing though. Per Robert's Rule of Order, we will not be entertaining any commentary, any questions from anybody outside of the SGA. This discussion applies only to the SGA members. Is there any discussion, SGA? Please feel free to read your paperwork, and I'll entertain any questions. Senator Dodd?
So, basically, what I'm reading is the investigation that he investigated and found the evidence,
Yes, ma'am.
but it wasn't presented at a time that it was supposed to. Therefore, you're asking
Okay. Well, I understand that. What we're asking today on this resolution is to find no confidence vote for PTC President, Dr. Ellibee. We passed two resolutions, 14-001, 14-002. I conducted a 5-month investigation into the circumstances surrounding the termination of Professor Linda Rowe, who was a 14-year veteran of this college. After listening to over 10 hours of tapes, reviewing countless documents, one could draw the conclusion that the college misrepresented his termination. Absolutely. Hands down. So much so that that's why we're here today. Yes, ma'am.
So why is President Margaret Ellibee
To quote Dr. Ellibee in her meeting Friday in the Faculty Senate, the buck stops with her. Therefore, we have no other recourse. Senator Jansen.
Would you mind outlining for those who are in attendance, what efforts have been made to resolve this, so that this resolution is not be necessary, and what happens as a result of the county?
Sure. First of all, Linda Rowe was afforded the same grievance procedure of any employee of the college and the current grievance procedure in place. As Dr. Ellibee has quoted in the news as saying it was a rigorous grievance procedure, I beg to differ. Basically, Linda Rowe was terminated by Dr. Ellibee and Nikki Quattlebaum, the Vice President of Human Resources. And according to Mr. Rowe, his supervisor, Joey Cole, was not present during that meeting, but did sign the paperwork. Now, this is according to him. This is not what I know. Subsequently, when the grievance procedure went forth, Dr. Ellibee worked the appeal and basically double fired him, said, no, you're not reinstated. And his last course of action was to go before the PTC Board of Trustees, in which he introduced his 10 hours of lectures that a student provided to him as evidence to show that he didn't say the things that he said that were alleged in the termination document. And PTC Board of Trustees took no action. Therefore, the grievance procedure was followed. Furthermore, in response to your question, though, I just wanted to put that out there to say this, that I have had multiple conversations with multiple students, faculty members, staff members, members of the public, in which I could not turn a blind eye, and I don't feel as though the SGA could have turned a blind eye to these issues. And furthermore, we sent an email to Dr. Ellibee, the executive officers, and I sent an email to her in, I believe, mid-January, expressing our concerns, in which she responded. Just a moment. Mr. Brooks, you're next. I got you. Just a second. Thank you. Quote, this happened, her response to my email was on January 28th. Wasn't mid-January, I'm sorry, it was January 28th. Good morning, James. Thank you for sending your letter last Friday afternoon. I appreciate you forwarding your concerns. Please be aware that there is a grievance process in place that PTC employees can choose to pursue. Dr. Ellibee. But you go back 2 pages from that. My email, and I'm not going to read the entire email for the audience. These documents are readily available. We're all about transparency, but for time purposes. There are 2 key points. Number 1, the endorsement and implementation by your administration, that would be Dr. Ellibee's administration, of the AAUP Standards of Academic Freedom and Due Process, which I attached those documents for her review in the email. And then point number 2, that Professor Lyndall Rowe be given a hearing based on AAUP standards. So she was well aware of the problem. Furthermore, we took action and voted 2 resolutions. 14002, many of you members were present for that, was passed unanimous, 12-0 for the investigation. 14001 was the resolution that we passed to suggest to the college that they enact AAUP standards of academic freedom and due process. And that was 11-1. One abstained. So that was 11 with one abstained, so it was basically unanimous. And with that said, we did everything that we could do as a group to work the process. We've been reasonable this whole time, to no avail. Mr. Brooks?
So we, to get from this, our resolution was just disregarded as not going to consider the AAUP standards and not the investigation, them not doing the investigation, and they're not going to consider the standards.
It's my interpretation that the resolution 14002, because see, these are 2 resolutions. 14002 was the investigation. I represented, and I know you were there along with Mr. Willis and several other SG members, and we appreciate that. We went before the Faculty Senate and requested that investigation by their body, and they voted, I believe, Mr. Williams was at 12-1, is that the vote for Faculty Senate? 12-1. So almost a unanimous vote on their part as well. Now, furthermore, they had a second action, and I want to explain this for the audience as well, because this is where it gets kind of confusing. They had 2 actions on the Faculty Senate on that day. And the first thing was to request the investigation. And the second thing was to form an ad hoc committee And for the members of the audience that don't know, members of the public, and the best way that I can understand how an ad hoc committee is at this college, it's a temporary committee that's formed that usually investigates or looks into one topic and then dissolves after that's no longer needed. According to the Faculty Senate Constitution, the president of the college has to approve the formation of any ad hoc committee by the Faculty Senate. Therefore, Dr. Ellibee denied that. And I do have that email in your packet. With that said, the Faculty Senate met last Friday at 2 o'clock, in which Dr. Ellibee, Dr. DeLong, Mary Ann Shope, the Vice President for Learning, and several other administrators of this college attended the Faculty Senate meeting. I have listened to the entire meeting. The meeting was recorded. And in that recording, I believe four times, possibly five, Dr. Ellibee says, quote, that it is out of the scope of your employment to investigate these matters any further. The thing is, we're not being unreasonable by asking that a policy that we feel may be flawed be looked into and possibly changed. Furthermore, we are a representative of the body of the students at this college, 10,104 students. That really sets a bad precedent to deny us an investigation just to shed light on some things. Does that help answer your question? Is there any other questions by any SJU? Senator Jansen?
Sir, what do you know about misrepresentations made by administrators? In the firing of Wendell Rowe, would you please clarify that this isn't about Wendell Rowe or his firing, but rather that it's about the climate of fear at the school that the faculty is enduring, and it's about a policy that allows that kind of conduct by administrators just to perpetuate. And lack of adequate policy.
Well, here's the deal. This college has a rigorous grievance procedure in place. And, you know, the problem with the rigorous grievance procedure that this college has is that it doesn't allow for peer review. And so that's the first major issue, is the fact that the faculty members here that find themselves in a disciplinary hearing don't get a review of anybody. It causes what we call a power vacuum. You know, administration basically rules the day around here, and there's no independent investigating, there's no peer review by the experts in that field even. And I've had, like I said, Jay, I've had multiple conversations with students, and so have y'all. I mean, it's not just me, and multiple of you, we've all had these discussions. And the students, the faculty here at this college deserve a peer review process. But as students, I am not a policy maker, nor do I proclaim to be. But I will tell you that when it affects my education, that's when I'm going to be vocal about it and speak out. I feel as though my education may have been compromised by the fact that we do not have a peer review process in place for faculty members because they feel intimidated and scared to teach the content and their discipline. The things that they have learned, the things that they went to college for well beyond before me, even. This is what they do. This is their livelihood. And this college has been just adamantly against a peer review process. That's not reasonable. That is absolutely not reasonable. Mr. Willis.
Okay, my question is, I understand us supporting the faculty, but where's their fight in all of this?
Now, see, that's a great question because they're on yearly contracts here that renew on April 15th. And, if they speak out, they are liable to not get renewed. Furthermore, due to the fact that we don't have a peer review process here at the college, it's very possible that a student, an outside entity that wants to complain about a faculty member here at the college could trigger some sort of an investigation, and then the college can just, do what they want to do. And, that is, that's bad. Yes, sir.
So are we also saying that there's no middle ground that's been met?
None. That's exactly what we're saying. No middle ground whatsoever. What was that, Mr. Henry? Yes.
Can you please re-explain the new evidence that was
Okay. The new evidence that was brought to my attention was over 10 hours of lecture. And Mr. Rowe had a student in his class that recorded 10 hours worth of lecture on his tablet, all but the very first day. Mr. Rowe has told me and has also explained to administration, as he stated to me, that he gives a list of offensive words and offensive topics that he's going to discuss. And let's keep in mind, we need to look at this in the context of what he teaches or what he taught. He is a philosophy instructor, so obviously in that particular section there's going to be lots of controversial topics that may be discussed. Not so much in a math class, is what I'm trying to say. So we don't have that recording, but every other day since then we did have that recording. And by listening to that and comparing the termination document that was signed off on by Dean Joey Cole and Margaret Ellibee, yeah, we'll get right to you, Jay. I have literally, I'm mind-boggled as to the misrepresentations and just grossness in how this is put together. I mean, in other words, the statements don't identify in the tapes. They just don't. They're not there. They don't exist. And then some things, I'd say, in my professional opinion, I would say 80% of that document is fictitious. I will tell you that 20% of that document does represent some truths as to what Mr. Rowe said. But those were taken way out of context. And those lecture tapes will reveal that. In the college, they don't want to hear it. That's pretty much what they've done. Board of Trustees, they had the opportunity to listen to the evidence. They chose not to. As far as other evidence, we have petitions from multiple students that exist. I would say over 150 signatures, that some of which were Lindel's students requesting that the college reevaluate their position with his termination. So, and I just want to put this out there, I went before the faculty senate and requested this investigation 2 weeks ago, in which Dr. Mike DeLong, provost, mentioned that, 30 students. He asked me, how many students did I talk to? I said 30 to 50. Is that about right? Just about this topic. And he told me that, 30 students really, representative of the whole student body, trying to marginalize us. You know what? One student has an issue, we as SGA are going to look into it. And this college needs to be made aware of that. I want to repeat that message today for everybody to hear that. We're serious about our role here. And furthermore, 150 students that have signed a petition, that's compelling evidence right there. Absolutely. Is there any other questions? I'm sorry, who else was, Mr. Edwards, yes, sir.
Yeah, I have a question. I'm
Yes.
a student, and, how would these, read on the due process affect or not affect me?
Okay, sure. You know, and I get asked that a lot. A lot of students are asking me that. Why are y'all even involved in this personnel matter? Why are y'all involved with this faculty matter? Who cares about faculty? You know, we're students, right? I get that. Quite frankly, here's the deal. If your college instructors are scared to death to teach their classes, you're not getting a quality education, sir, because they're afraid to teach you what's in the book. They're afraid that if they cuss or discuss controversial topics, that they'll be terminated. And that's similarly to what happened with Lyndall Rowe. And the tapes prove it. This is what brought it to our attention. These tapes, had these tapes not surfaced, these 10 hours of lecture tapes are the pivotal point, folks. They're the pivotal point. Had they not existed, this would have been a personnel issue. And it would have been faculty needs to deal with the administration and students need to just go to class. That's how it would have been. But I can assure you one thing, by listening to those tapes, I am convinced that this college did some wrongdoing in that. Absolutely. And you know, Mr. Rowe has made it very clear that in SGA members as well as other faculty members, anybody can come over to his house and listen to those tapes. He has an open door policy at his house, and he doesn't live but very far away, the other end of the hill. College administration doesn't want to hear it. As a matter of fact, no, we'll save that one. Anybody? Secretary Butts.
As a student, I have been affected by this personally because a teacher of mine, I won't mention their name, has made a comment to where, you know what, I don't even care if I get fired for this, but so and so and so. Like, don't hold any information from me and my education that's going to help me in the future because of whatever's going on. I sense the fear in the instructors, my instructors, and I want the education that I came to this school for and that I personally paid. So, that's all that I have.
Thank you. Senator Jansen, and then who was next? Senator Atkins next. Jansen.
I have been personally affected as well. Instructors have told me that there is absolutely a climate of fear on this campus, and that the faculty is scared to death. And that affects me and every student at Pulaski Tech. And potentially every future student. And potentially past students. And the problem is that the current policy allows for this climate of fear. And it allows it to perpetuate. There isn't any policy. That's the bottom line. We're looking for improved policy. We're looking for Pulaski Tech to step it up a couple of notches. That's what we're asking.
Yeah, to piggyback on what you're saying, sir, we had this conversation, and I'd like to put this out there to everybody. We want Pulaski Tech to raise its standard. We want to have a higher standard here as a learning institution. We feel as students that we deserve that. We deserve nothing less. We are not just the cheaper option for Central Arkansas. Let's make that very clear. We are Pulaski Tech. We are absolutely 100% a community college for the community, for the students. I see that. You can shake your head, but we are.
Point me out if you don't want my opinion or my input on anything. 'Cause I
Point of
don't
order.
see yours.
Yeah, point of order. Thank you.
spoke to me.
I did, but I didn't acknowledge you.
Neither do I.
But I don't appreciate
Point of
your,
order.
you know, we're
Point
up
of
here
order.
as students
Right.
trying to. Yes. Oh, okay. Mr. Brooks.
Mr. President, I'll move that we end discussion, bring
Can we get a second?
Second.
All right. Motion and second to end discussion and move straight to a vote. At this point, we're going to call a secret ballot vote.
No one ever made a motion and seconded it for you guys to adopt it.
I thought we could just introduce it. This is a special meeting.
Well, still need to do that.
Okay. Well, sure. Can we get a motion and second to introduce this resolution? I thought that's what we had already done. Motion and second. This resolution. Are you motioning or are you seconding?
A motion that we put matter of resolution 14-003 to a vote in discussion.
Excellent. Second. All right. All in favor? Any opposed? All right. We're discussing it now. Oh, were you opposed? One opposed?
Because I had a question when you started out with this,
Yes, ma'am.
and I knew it was not,
Well, we're still in discussion phase. We haven't voted to adopt this resolution. So no, ma'am, we're not to that point yet. What Michelle was pointing out was that she felt as though I improperly introduced this to the membership for discussion. So we've just now made it formal that we're actually talking about it now. And then we're going to go forward. So yeah, did you have a question? This is discussion, please, by all means.
I am a student and I'm a proud student.
Yes, ma'am.
My question is, if all of this, coming up now, how come in the past, I'm sure this is the first time this has happened. So why hasn't anyone, stepped up to the plate and say, okay, we need to do this? And why is it such a big deal now? Not that I'm saying that it shouldn't be a big deal, but why has it come full circle that it's so, in your face now?
Absolutely. And under Dr. Baki's administration, most faculty here, the conversations I've had said they didn't feel that it was necessary, that Dr. Baki had an open door without a lock on it, and so they could go in at any time and talk to the president about their concerns. Dr. Ellibee's administration has come in here. She's been in almost 2 years now, and has installed a lock on that said door in the administration hallway as an example. And basically, it's basically been her way or the highway. I think I can cite the Administrator Carol Langston that was terminated. There was a lot of incidents surrounding her. They fired her for insubordination. So there are other faculty members and administrators even that have been terminated. This isn't an issue about Carol Langston, so I really don't want to get too sidetracked on that. But just so you know, there are other faculty members that have been affected. And the thing is, when you create a culture of fear to get your way, most people don't want to talk. They're afraid they'll lose their job. As we know, the job market right now the economy is pretty bad, so it's hard for people to find jobs. Mr. Willis?
I still have to come back to the point that I made earlier.
Yes.
We brought this out so that it could be addressed. But I still think it's the faculty's job to do that.
Well,
I really do.
it is the faculty's job, but the thing is, if you look at shared governance at the college, their voice has pretty much been shunted. Okay? Back in Baki's administration, faculty senate had a direct line to the president. Under this administration, they don't. I've looked. I'm on quality council. I know. They formed quality council. Quality council, which is 3/4 administrators, 25% faculty. There's no way there's shared governance, but they would have you believe that there is. Boy, we are just all fair and open. We are all about an open door policy with faculty. But if you were to walk into Ellibee's office with concerns, your contract wouldn't be renewed April 15th, most likely. That's why the faculty have reached out to the students have reached out to us because they feel that their education's been compromised. I mean, it's just, that's the issues that plague this college. I understand it's a faculty issue. I have acknowledged 20 minutes ago that this is a faculty issue with the college. And we are students. And we are really far out there for even looking into all this stuff. But you know what? Takes a stand-up group of people to bring it out because no one else is, and we can't be terminated. Yes, sir, Mr. Hill.
I have 3 points that I want to kind of touch on. The first one is to kind of go with what Mr. Willis just said. Yes, this is a faculty issue. Wendell Rowe tried to handle this issue on his own through the grievance procedure at Pulaski Tech, was shut down. Our president of SGA took it upon himself, that is also former law enforcement, to do an investigation in this matter. And after that, he brought it to the SGA, and we passed that resolution 12-0 to go to the faculty senate to approach them and say, hey, this is an issue that we'd like y'all. They didn't have to vote to pass it.
Sure did.
They put the motion forward to vote on it and pass. And after it was passed by the faculty senate, which is supposed to be representative of the faculty of this college, was then shut down by the president of this college and told in the email that the investigation was done, it was finalized, and that she was not approving the ad hoc committee. So I mean that, yes, it is a faculty issue, but when the faculty tries to deal with it and it gets shut down, immediately. The day that the chair of the faculty senate emailed her, an email was immediately responded back and was told that it was shut down. And so that's where I'm assuming with this resolution that's come forth now.
Page
That's where
3.
it stands,
Page,
right?
but read page 3. If there's one thing you're looking at this packet in relation to what Brian just said, look at page 3. This is the official response from Faculty Senate Chair Jeff Williams, Dr. Jeff Williams,
And
and he kind of explains.
the second point that I have is I'm also a student that has spoke with numerous students and faculty members that tell me that they feel their education, and the faculty saying that they don't feel that they're giving the education to the students that they deserve. And, honestly, I don't care about this issue, but when I have so many students bring this to me, and not just students, faculty, then I have to take issue on it, because that's my job as the Vice President of Student Government. Us, SGA members, we represent the student body of Pulaski Tech. We don't just take issues and not do nothing with them and sweep them under the carpet. We take student issues and we address them at the proper level that they need to be addressed at, either faculty senate, quality council, board of trustees, whatever it may be, directly to Dr. Ellibee if her had an open door policy, that we could do that. And we've tried to do that, and we see that it's shut down.
I was actually clarified yesterday she has an open door policy.
I've been on
Get that out
SGA
there.
for 2 years.
But you have to know the code to get in, or you have to make an appointment.
Been on SGA for 2 years, and this is the first issue in 2 years that we, as students, a big issue, try to get addressed and handled by the faculty. And the first thing it does is it gets voted on and passed, and then it's shut down. My third issue that I want to say, and ask James to elaborate on it, is why is Wendell Grove not allowed to even step foot on Pulaski Tech property?
My interpretation of that was once he was terminated, he was asked to not come back. There's no real clear reason. Due to the fact that there was a statement in his termination document in relation to a sexual nature, the college has taken, I believe, my interpretation of the position that because of that sexual comment that was made at Wendell Rowe, may be a threat to students. So that's their, I don't know. I don't have a clear-cut answer for that. Mr. Atkins?
Taking the Atkins with second semester freshman.
Yes, sir.
My concern is the structure of the grievance process, why is this so significant opposed to the AAUP standards that are implemented in almost every school in Arkansas?
Well, let me clarify that point. 90% of universities across the nation,
What?
90% of universities across the nation have an AAUP standard of some sort of academic freedom due process.
What's so significant about the grievance process opposed to something that's in the majority of schools in Arkansas?
This grievance procedure here doesn't allow for peer review, so seemingly the process is that your dean gets involved first, and then the president of the college, and then the board of trustees. With no peer review, it basically is if the administrator has an issue with you or a bias towards you, if you will, you can be terminated, and they'll work your appeal. It's not the same person that terminates you will work your appeal. And that's setting a bad precedent. Mr. Jansen.
In your opinion, after reviewing the termination documents, feel like it's fair to characterize those documents as containing malicious and perhaps criminal misrepresentations
And
on part of the administration?
absolutely, 100%. And that's based on my law enforcement experience and based on my common knowledge.
So what is the vote of no confidence?
This is us taking a step as SGA, representative body of the students of this college, to say that we do not stand with Dr. Ellibee. Nothing more, nothing less. This is the end of our road. This is the end of the line, or the end of the road for us. This is as far as we can go.
This is the last straw.
That's it. This is the last straw. Yes, sir, Mr. Willis.
I'd like to make a motion that we shut this down and just go for a vote.
Okay. Sure. Is there a second?
I said that.
Okay. Let's see. Willis to vote. Second, Brooks. Okay. We're going to call for a secret vote. So at this time, what we need to do is give y'all a sheet of paper, and then I want you. We'll get to that in a minute. Let me get you a sheet of paper first. Yes, sir.
We need to vote on whether to move forward with the vote.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, of course. My bad. I'm jumping ship, aren't I? Parliamentary procedure there. All in favor for voting on this motion, or this resolution, signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Sorry.
Mr. Paper.
Right on the back. I think indicate, if you write yes on the back of your paper, the word yes, not Y, needs to be yes, spell it out, Y-E-S. That is to approve the resolution that's before you. And exactly what this resolution is in bold type, which would be to authorize the SGA to go no confidence against the building. If you write yes. If you write no, you don't support it. If you write A, the letter A, you're abstaining from your vote. So it's either write out yes, write out no, or put an A. And when you get done, would you please turn in your ballots to the
Right out
secretary?
abstain,
Write it out.
yeah, just handwriting, you want to be clear, yes, no, abstain.
Okay, sure. Write out abstain then. I can't vote.
I've already.
You will need to turn your ballots into Madam Secretary, please.
how many yeas do we have on this resolution, Madam Secretary?
We have 9,
9 yeas. How many nays do we have on this resolution, Madam Secretary?
we have
3
3,
nays. How many abstains do we have on this resolution, Madam Secretary?
we have 1.
Okay. By a vote of 9 to 3, with 1 abstain, did you say?
Yes.
This motion, this resolution 14003 to authorize the SGA to vote no confidence against PTC President Margaret Ellibee has been passed. This moment, I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Let's roll. Thank you for coming, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate you.
This is something that they passed out.
That's because she's
he had a room down here in front of my house, he had a room. He'd go to school, he would get that room, we wouldn't see him, not for dinner, cool, he'd be right back here.
Did you see my face?